here in Portugal. A little bit of a worry about a major fire in central Portugal, so be careful if you're over that way. Make sure you're keeping an eye on fogos.pt so that you can stay out of harm's way over there. And we're nearly over and broadcasting over on YouTube. This is great. So we're very nearly there. A little bit of self-talking over there. So let's get started. Thank you for being here. Queen of the Visas, let's start with you. How's your week been?
Hello.
Hi, Gilda.
Pretty busy. I had some events going on, networking in events, information, many things happening now in the summer. So yes, it was quite good, and it was calm as far as it concerns to Aima because most of the appointments happened. Which is not that usual these days. And we got to have some fun also.
Very good. So we are seeing some signs. Actually, let me just acknowledge it sounds like you're having a good work-life balance for one thing, Gilda, which is great news. And we're also seeing a little bit of easing at IMA, perhaps. That something's working. Things are just a little sign of things getting a little bit better.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so glad to see that. And Tom Smith, I started the process of getting my NIF with I. So baby steps, and that's a significant baby step, if that's not a contradiction. But that's a good move. Well done, Tom. Started with you and your company, Gilda. Let's stay with A. And Pedro Franco has just arrived on screen. How's your work, or how's your week been, Pedro, in the world of taxation? We were just talking about unmuting on Zoom. And it would be great if you could do that as well, Pedro.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. Jerry will show you what to do later.
Okay. I need some lessons.
Yeah. How are you?
No, my week was it was quiet. I think mine was the opposite of Gilda's because for tax nothing happened. So I think we are already in the silly season of summer.
Yes.
And so all the promises made are still down the pipe, but not out of the pipe. So
it sounds a little bit like the world of insurance where we'll go next, but it's good in taxation if you've got nothing to report, really, just chugging along nicely, getting all of those.
Nothing bad also.
Yeah, yeah, good to know. Okay, so Pedro Franco here. Did we? We've had a Euro 24 final as well, haven't we? So maybe Lee said soonest mended after that match on Sunday night. But well done, Spain, I should say as well. So excellent match. It was. I mean, England played up to it, and it was a great match, and I think Spain deserved it in the end. So for those of you on the panel who spoke of their affection for Spain last night, congratulations. And I made friends with some Spanish people watching the match on Sunday night. So that's all over now and behind us. 2 years, and we'll have the World Cup to bore everybody with who doesn't like football. So and there are a few of those people here, I think. Let's move on to insurance. As I said, Nuno, how are you? I think on the road.
Yes, I just left Porto 30 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I attended to the Porto meetup.
Oh, excellent. How was it?
It was amazing.
Good to hear.
Me too.
Yes, yes. I met people that we were talking.
Slightly difficult connection, I think, with Nuno, and I'm wondering if the Tesla is doing the driving or if he's a passenger. I hope it's one of those two options. But then again, he will be well insured. Go on, Nuno.
Sorry.
I think Elon Musk needs to get the Wi-Fi sorted out in the in the Tesla. We'll come back to you when you've made your way a little bit further down the A1. No. Let's go to Daniel Reis Pelicano. How are you this evening? Tudo bem, Daniel?
Hello. Quite all right. I did miss you, folks. Well, I had nice substitute slides last webinar, but I did miss it, so I'm glad to be back.
Good to see you here this evening. Your colleagues did a great job. They did a great job last week. So thank you for being here with us. Anything to report from the world of law or the Portuguese constitution about which we talk sometimes?
Well, the politicians in Portugal are not that active because they will get into recess. The parliament will get into recess at the end of this month, and then they'll just not do anything until mid-September. So, in terms of new laws, new stuff that is coming out, things are in a chill mood, and so no big thing to report at the current moment. That's basically it.
Fair enough. I mean, they've been working hard. They've been at least, what, 2 or 3 months in the job. So a break is in order.
100 days, 100 days actually. So they've done the 100-day mark.
Yes.
And well, they've put forward some political announcements, but what is lacking at the moment is the production of laws that backs those political announcements. And I'm expecting those to occur, let's say October this year. But we're still missing a few things that they've announced. And we need to see the end result, the final law, so we can advise the clients what's the direction to take. But yeah, we're for the time being, we're not expecting any a lot of changes.
And we are, as I think Pedro was referring to as well, we're going into the quiet time, aren't we? Going to the holiday time here in Portugal. So we won't expect too much
Yes.
from Parliament, all the lawmakers for a little while. And
Usually
we'll slow
news
down.
reporters, usually news reporters will call this season the silly season.
Yes.
Because, well, politicians will be in the beach, they'll have their flip-flops and shorts, but nothing major will happen.
And is that why, Daniel, Tom heard Shager proposal restricting the access to the health service for non-citizens? Did I hear this correctly? Is this likely to happen, or is it a bit of a silly season news story?
That's unconstitutional. He was trying to pull that out, but that's unconstitutional. So that wouldn't pass in the Portuguese court, and he's just doing that for political gains. That's basically it.
So we needn't worry about that then. But thanks for asking the question, Tom. And that's what we're here for on a Thursday night. If you're concerned about anything to do with moving to Portugal or Portuguese culture, this is absolutely the right place to ask it. And talking of Portuguese culture, Laronda hasn't even moved here yet, but she's already a little bit cynical. 100 days is like an eternity when you're working hard for the people. I think she might have her tongue in her cheek with saying that this evening. Thanks, Daniel. Let's go to Sarah now. How are you, Sarah? And can I get your autograph?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're enjoying being in the paper this week.
It's exciting.
Very good. Well, in case you didn't know, Sarah's been featured in the Portugal Resident this week, and the headline, yeah, it sounded so good, I moved here. And it's a lot to do with being in these webinars, isn't it?
Absolutely. It was quite nice actually when we did the sort of article, because it just sort of reminded me the questions about why did I want to move here? Am I happy here? You know, what are my thoughts now that I've moved? And it just, because when you live in, day out, you sort of take it, not a little bit for granted, but you forget that actually how exciting it is still to live here, how it exceeded expectations. I've been quite fortunate. It's been quite easy to assimilate into the community. Obviously, I will try and learn the language, but it's not a necessity. Everybody's been really welcoming. I mean, obviously, there are things that are different. The culture is different. There's things that you will miss from home and things that are not the same. It's never going to be perfect, but you are living in a different country, so you have to adapt as well. Yes,
absolutely right. And if I may quote you, and would she recommend moving to Portugal to other people? Absolutely. Exclamation mark. It's the best decision I've ever made, and so far I have no regrets. It is scary to make a big life-changing decision. Come visit, spend a few weeks to see if you can live here and get a feel for the place. I think you will know. Trust your gut is your advice. And there's lots of lovely advice from you in the article. In the Portugal Resident this week, so well done. Excellent stuff. Congratulations to Debbie. And today is my 2-month anniversary of living in Coimbra. And straight in with congratulations, I think on behalf of all of us, is Phyllis with a parabéns there. So Sarah, any news from the world of currency?
I think just following on, if you saw last week my colleague Ben that you met for the first time, he's been with us a while now, but nice to see his face dealing with many Expat Portugal members. But he would have touched on the rate movements that we saw last week, which is we're still sort of seeing now, is that we've seen a bit of a movement between selling your US dollars and buying euros. I mean, if we're giving a sort of monetary comparison, it's about 4,000 US dollars more expensive now to buy your euros than it was a month ago. So it's these sort of rate movements that we're trying to help manage for you and just educate you that it isn't just about the price on the day, it's when you're buying your euros. And the most extreme example I've seen is really last year with the rate movement, where that difference was 32,000 US dollars. And you know, we've seen pandemics, we've seen wars, obviously we've got elections coming up, and that's where we're more likely to see maybe greater rate movements, and it may be a chance to speak to us and to see how we can manage your budgets. The thing at the moment is we're seeing good economic data out of the US, so they may actually cut interest rates. There's a bit of disparity between sort of economic recovery between the Eurozone and the US. So it's who's going to, we think Fed's going to do it more aggressively perhaps this year, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a weakening of the US dollar.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you for that insight. And yeah, Ben made a great debut. Diana B, here's a special shout out to and a thank you to your colleague Ben Scott. As Spartan FX, my account is all sorted now, which lets me transfer funds to the excellent legal team at Reyes and Pelicano. Daniel, you're seeing here tonight, of course, faster, easier, and cheaper. Gotta love reducing financial transaction friction. That's not a phrase we've heard, but we should probably write that down, Sarah. Reducing financial transaction friction there.
Love it.
And Ben, I think adding to the rumor that you have to be handsome and a bit of a hunk to work at Spartan FX on the male side of things. And is there any truth in the rumor there's going to be a calendar, a Spartan FX calendar at Christmas?
Well, if the demand's there, then maybe.
Okay, well, let us know in the chat tonight. Thank you. Good to see you here tonight, Sarah. A lovely life here in Portugal. Have I missed anyone? Let's go back to Nuno. How are you doing, Nuno? Are you able to talk to us again? I think perhaps not. You might pull into the services, the excellent services here in Portugal on the toll roads, and have a chat with us a little bit later on. But he sounds like he had a great time at the Porto, Expats Portugal's Porto meetup today. If you were there, do let us know how you enjoyed yourself there in Porto. Attention to anyone who wanted to visit Coimbra. They are getting ready to close. So this is the amazing historic Roman centre, but they're getting ready to close for 5 years. So you better get in there quick to get there ASAP. We went yesterday and it was amazing. So Coimbra will be closing down as a tourist attraction for a renovation. Get in there quickly. And as I mentioned before, Óbidos Medieval Fair is happening. There's one in Coimbra happening this weekend as well. Loads of great things going on all over Portugal. Peda Botard Abdo Peixe de Galas. I have been busy, have a viewing here at my property. Oh, fingers crossed then. Hopefully you'll get a buyer for your place and we'll see you here soon in Portugal. Peda. Allah from Gail. In Canada, I had my D7 visa application appointment at the Vancouver consulate yesterday. Thanks to the great support of EI from in particular, Marianne Sato. It only took 15 minutes. Well, that's great news. If you could pass on that excellent feedback, Gilda, as well, that would be wonderful. Have we got any questions? Lovely comments and testimonials. Great to get those. We need your questions, of course, as well on visas, on taxation, on the law, insurance and currency tonight. Same here. We will need to transfer sterling for our house purchase soon. Exchange rate looking good at the moment. Any thoughts from Robert, Andrew, Frank on Zoom there? What do you say about the sterling at the moment, Sarah?
Yeah, again, sterling recovered a little bit better economic data. I think I've said it before. If you look back, again, this is what we do. We, rather than looking sort of short term, we look back historically, maybe over the last 5 years. Where's sterling euro been? How many times have we hit 120? We've been over maybe a couple of times, but then we rebound back. So actually anything close to 120 is a pretty good rate. We struggle to retain that. Obviously no one's got a crystal ball, but we are experiencing, if you look back for the last 5 years, very good rates. If you can get close to 120, it's a very good rate.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that. Thanks very much. I'm just having a look over on YouTube as well while you're chatting there. Forgive me. And I've also got the back door open because of the last webinar, so you might be able to hear my dogs barking now. Never work with animals and children. I think the children are out on the trampoline as well. I might have to deal with that at some point this evening. Kids and dogs in the background of the webinar this evening. There was from Debbie. You heard what happened at my IMA appointment. I don't know if that's a personal message to Gilda, but let me know, Debbie, if you want me to share more on that in the chat this evening.
It wasn't a So if you remember last time, I told you I went to Espinho.
Yes.
So it's like I took a day off from class, got a hotel room, train trip, taxis, food, and all that, but especially missing class. got there, okay, and it was still showing as current, my appointment was still showing online even that morning. I got there and they said, only one person came to work today. You need to leave. I'm like, I can wait all day. They're like, no, you got to leave. Only one person came to work. So a friend of mine, well, actually one of my classmates, Wednesday was his appointment in Lisbon. Same thing, missed school, train, hotel, taxis, food down in Lisbon. And he took an attorney with him. I don't know from where, but he had an attorney. Same thing, turned away, come back in September.
That is rough, isn't it? So, Gilda, do you think there's more of this happening?
Yes, there is, but of course that sometimes you need to be resilient and of course not in Debbie's position because she was by herself and no one from a foreign country wants to to have a debate with an authorities over there.
Right.
But if you are with a lawyer, he should stand up for you and try to push it because that's what we do. And sometimes it's not possible, but but if they have like the excuse the machine is broken or something like that. But unless it's or the system is down, sometimes it happens. But if it's because we only have one person working, it's not a very good excuse.
No, and we've just heard a bit too much of this just recently. So
yes, and I started this conversation today saying that finally we had a good week of appointments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, mixed feelings about IMA as ever, of course. And thanks for sharing that, Debbie. And yeah, you've got to be resilient, as Gilda says, and sort of prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and prepare for the worst. And I hope behind the scenes things are shaping up a little bit better with IMA, and that doesn't happen to many more people. Thanks, Gilda, for the time being. I'm going to come back to you actually about the Eurobic and Abanca merger, which was a real surprise to me when I logged on the other day. My Eurobic account has turned from red to blue. But before we go there, let's talk to Nunu, see if we got a better connection with him now as he's hurtling down the A1, I think. Nunu, are you there?
Yes, I am. You know what is better rather than have one internet device is having two.
He's a scout, always prepared. You are you are ever the Boy Scout there. So are you on the A1? You're heading back from Porto to the capital?
Yes. So like I said, yeah, I tend to the Porto meetup. It was a very good meetup to be there with the AI team, with Pedro also.
Yep.
Meet for the first time in flesh people that we are talking for so long till now. Yeah, it seems that on the 19th August, I'll be there too. So
very good.
If someone wants a ride from Lisbon, I could.
Oh, look at you. That's a wonderful offer. Thank you, Nuno. And any news from the world of insurance for us? We're watching very closely. There's quite the stressful situation we're seeing in some hospitals in Portugal. I'm sure you're keeping a close eye on it as well. What do you have to share with us this week?
Yes, some hospitals, because they are running out of personnel, they are just shutting down the urgency services, and of course that this gives some worries to people.
Sure.
And once again, this is one of the reasons why the private sector is becoming more and more the plan A that people have. There are private hospitals opening also due to all of this demand. So it's the new reality. The government is keeping and it's keep trying to solve this. They are doing some agreements with the private sector to try to solve the constraints of the public, but it's only a small portion of it that is being solved.
Very interesting, Nuno. And we've seen a change then, haven't we? If I can sort of expand on what you're saying there. We used to talk about a hybrid approach, didn't we? 50-50, basically, you know, a balance of public and private. But I think you referred to the private health system as the plan A there. Is that your advice then to people to emphasize a little more private healthcare with public as the backup
Yeah.
and obviously still for emergency situations?
Yes, because in theory, everyone residency in Portugal should have free healthcare. But this is only the theory, because if you need to stay 2 years long for a surgery, or if you need to wait for 6 months for a doctor appointment just to treat a cold, simple cold, so this is not something that we can trust.
Yes.
On.
Okay.
So,
So
and this is why this is the main reason why health insurance is the kind of insurance that is rising the most regarding the other kinds of insurance.
yes.
Property, life, and whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there are on this portal meetup, I had a conversation that reflects this, that there are people are not aware that health insurance is not the same on every insurer. Please talk with the broker that you are handling with or with the bank, and do a lot of questions.
Yes.
Because the wording is what rules the insurance policy, not the name of the coverage.
And not the advertising.
Yeah, also that. So have a health insurance for 9 euros a month. Definitely, I can assure you without seeing that is not a health insurance plan.
Yeah.
So feel free to call us, to text us, WhatsApp, email, and we will clarify you. We can compare what we have with what we could have, and we do this free. So feel free to call.
Wonderful. And you are such a good advert for the comfort and luxury of riding in a Tesla this evening, having a conference call with us whilst on the A1, I think, from Porto to Lisbon with a chauffeur, I take it.
Yes, because it's autopilot, but chauffeur
okay, I think what you said there was it does have autopilot, but you're going with a human being. Oh yes, excellent, great stuff. All right, thanks, Nuno. Thanks for that insight and update from the health world and insurance world as well. Let's go to the chat here on Zoom, and a question for Gilda, for you tonight, Gilda. I'm planning to come early next year on D7 before my husband. He'll follow within a few months. With the problems with IMA, could I get stuck in Portugal, unable to travel back and forth while I wait for an IMA appointment? Can you answer that, or do you need a bit more information on this, on the context and background there from Christine?
No, I can answer that. So, if she's from the United States, right?
Let's assume for the time being, yes, Christine is going to the United States.
Okay, because many people has this doubt. So once you have your visa, you are entitled to 2 enters in the country. The first one when you come to Portugal, and then you are able to go out and enter again. If things go out as the way it should be, in the window time of 4 months, they should have the IMA appointment. Okay, so everything will be fine. You can go out and in within that between that period. What is happening right now is that because services are so delayed, they had this decree law stating that all the visas are automatically extended until the end and until June of next year. So according to the Portuguese authorities, there is not going to be any problem for you to go out and coming in, showing that you have your visa, that you have your, this meaning that you spent more than 6 months in a row in Portugal. to come back. If you show that you have your visa, although it's expired, if you had an IMA appointment, but the IMA appointment was rescheduled, if you show all of these when you enter the Schengen area via Portugal, nothing is going to happen. Where can you have problems? If you come in from to the Schengen area through another country, for instance, through France, they can ask you, oh, but your visa is already expired. And then you need to explain, oh yeah, but it's Portugal and they are all messed up and they have this decree law, and they might understand, they might not understand.
Right.
Most of the times they understand because they are already, all the European Union is already aware of this problem in Portugal. But sometimes if clients have problems, they call from there, and we send an email. We ask CEF IMA to send an email to the authorities of this country so that they can let them in.
Oh, that's a good service. Excellent. Okay, so there you go, Christine. That's an authoritative and informative answer, and an obrigada from Christine for you there. And yes, we were right to assume that Christine is in the US. So thanks for that, Gilda.
Thank you.
I think we'll just stay with you for a moment. I filled out the paperwork to get a NIF. Unfortunately, my wife was still reluctant to do this at this time. I don't know if we can help with that. Hopefully this won't be too big of an issue. Oh, Gilda, please tell Sarah she's doing a good job. I'm working well with her. As a wife yourself, Gilda, what do you think Tom should do to help support his wife in his wish to come to Portugal, and that she come with him, basically?
Well, sometimes it's not a matter of not knowing if she wants to come to Portugal. Maybe she didn't want to start the NIF process because she was afraid that could have a tax impact on her tax life. But
Yep.
it doesn't have, because when you want to have a NIF number from Portugal, you can take this NIF as a non-resident.
Okay.
And therefore you are not going to have any tax liability on that. So I'm assuming that was her only issue by
Very
taking
good.
the NIF number.
Very practical and very grounded and down to earth. I was getting all dramatic, wasn't I? And I'd gone to the dark side
Yes.
immediately with that answer. So,
But
yes,
I
well,
don't
that-
think so. I don't think so.
Very
So
good.
Tom, you can tell her, baby, let's go ahead with the NIF and prepare everything, and let's
I
move
mean,
all at once.
Are there any more romantic words on this earth than "baby"? We can go ahead with the NIF. Isn't that what every woman wants to hear?
I can't think of another
Carl,
one.
I'm
can
going
I
to try it
say one?
later. Who was that? Who wants to add to that?
Carl?
Yes.
Yes, this phrase. Let's talk about tax, baby.
Very good. That's also available with the Spartan calendar. Pedro singing all his favorite tax-related tunes coming out at Christmas. LaRonda, please go ahead.
I was going to say, my ex-husband always called me wifey. Oh, you're so wonderful, wifey, with his Australian-German hybrid accent.
Okay, so there you go, Tom.
Hilarious.
Tom's getting lots of coaching.
Wifey.
Try it, Tom.
I never thought wifey would be romantic, but
Yeah, sounds nice, especially an Australian German accent. Thank you, LaRonda. Thanks for being with us this evening. While we're talking to you, Gilda, Eurobic, Abanca, the merger, has that, why? I mean, it was a real surprise to me. Suddenly I logged in to Eurobic and there it was. It had changed from red to blue. Fortunately, it wasn't too difficult to log in. They haven't had too many problems, but what is it? A merger, a rebrand? What's going on with those two?
It is a merge.
Right.
As you know, the Eurobic had some old issues with the Angolan shareholders.
I didn't know that. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
they
Okay.
did. So now it seems that everything is going to be more stable with this merge. And I think only good things can come for people that already have their bank accounts opened.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we know that Spanish are not very keen to open bank accounts for foreigners.
Okay.
Because we see it's very difficult to work with BPI, which is also merged with another Spanish bank.
Yes.
So in Santander, it's not very easy, not open to open bank accounts for foreigners. So I think that from now on, it's going to be harder to open bank accounts with Eurobic.
Wow. Okay. So
On the other hand,
Yeah.
I have some good news for Canadians and North Americans as far as it concerns to the opening of the bank accounts, because we just closed a good deal with Caixa Geral de Depósitos.
Oh, very good.
Yes, and we are going to start to work with them for Canadians and North Americans, expecting to work with less bureaucracy.
Excellent. Good to know. Okay, that might be of some help to Gail and other Canadians who are joining us tonight. That's great news. Thank you very much for that. While we're talking about the Tom and the Neef saga, having to provide the amount of personal...
Something quick, Carl?
Yes, of course you can, Sarah. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this advice for Tom?
Talking about the bank account. So you still need one, and you need to continue the process with Gilda and her team.
Yeah.
But as a sort of solution is that you can have a Spartan FX account. We can pay to any third party. So a lot of clients are using us to make payments, whether you're paying a property, paying fees. You can use us like that because the account's in your name, even if you've not got a bank account set up, or even if you have, and some clients have set it up and it's open, but they're not very good with the Portuguese online banking. Again, they can use, as long as the IBAN number, we can pay to any third party.
Very good. So the distinction being, Spartan can help with a lot more than people realize, apart from you're not a Portuguese bank account, which is a requirement of the visa. So everything up until that point, you can pretty much help with, right?
Yes, exactly. So even, you know, when you've got the Portuguese bank account, we're not redundant. We're again still the conversion and the process of helping you move the money quicker to that account or the third party's account.
Yep. Thanks for adding that. That's really helpful. Thanks very much indeed. And open up your account, as you can see with the details on the screen there, and mention Expats Portugal. I think Tom is becoming Portuguese, actually. My plan, he says, is to get my mother-in-law on my side. That is a smart and Portuguese move, I would say. She has a lot of influence on my wife. Robert adding, my plans for my mother-in-law would put me in jail for a long time. Okay, please don't share those. We've got a great lawyer here, but not that good. So don't put them in the chat, please, Robert, Andrew, Frank there. And maybe the problem as well, Laronda is saying, having to provide the amount of personal identification information to strangers to get an if is off-putting. And that makes sense as well. Yeah, and that was her main objection, of course. So all joking aside, we've got to the bottom of that. And thanks, Tom, for sharing. Denise, in response to what you were saying, Gilda, I found working with Caixa, that's CGD, to be very easy and user-friendly, says Denise. No problem at all doing this in South Africa. So that's good to know for South Africans as well as Canadians. Great staff here as well. So helpful. That's brilliant. Okay, we go to Nunu now, who I hope is still with us on the call and on the journey with us. Gail was asking, Nunu, are we still connected with you? Perhaps
yes, I am.
Yes, we are. Excellent. Okay, so Gail was asking, if I'm in Portugal, before I have my IMA appointment or have my residence card and receive my SNS, can I use my private insurance rather than my travel insurance?
Yes. So as soon as you have the NIF, you can use the health insurance policy. Definitely.
You can.
Be aware that there are waiting periods. And within waiting periods, the cost is not so low as after the waiting period. Okay? But
okay.
Yes,
that's good to know. I think Gail may have some additional questions for you, Nunu, as does the Naunu is talking to the Nunu, which we'll come back to after we've spoken to Gail. Go ahead, Gail.
So Nunu, I'm coming to Portugal on August 1st. We made sure my private insurance and travel insurance started July 1st. But more than anything, what I want to try to do is find a functional family doctor while I'm there. And I'm just wondering if I can do that through like private insurance or do anything using my private insurance, even though it might be a little more money because the whole waiting period hasn't finished yet. I've speeded things up about 3 months, so.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it, Gail. And we are in contact. So send me an email if you want, or do I?
Yeah, I'll reach out to you when I get to Stabal and figure that out. And maybe you have recommendations on doctors or whatever. So
Yeah,
Love it, Gail.
we can talk about that, Gail.
That's great. Saying it like a
Right.
native as well, Stabal. And also, may I suggest as well with a doctor is try the Expats Portugal forum as well, because word of mouth recommendations in a locality are really helpful. So you might want to ask for personal recommendations around your area, as well as talking to Nunu and the team, of course. Gail, anything else we can do for you?
no, that's great. I mean, like my dream is starting to come real because less than 2 weeks now. So
Wow,
at
how
least coming to
exciting.
visit, and then
Yes.
we'll see. But I was talking to someone at the Vancouver, Portugal consulate, and they got it in 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know that there's a fire under their. They've got a fire going in there right now, I guess.
Yeah, well done. Well, good news. See you soon.
Okay.
Deja. Okay, brilliant, Gail. Thank you very much. Let's go over to YouTube. You've been very patient over there. The Naunu, a few administrative things that I think are being sorted out by us at Expats Portugal. They're the Naunu. And you have a question for Nunu from Naunu. I have a company in Portugal, Nunu, and my first employee is flying to Portugal next week. They are looking for health insurance, but I learned that the employer is required to provide insurance. Is it, the second part of the question, for all industries or only hazardous industries? I have an IT company and my employee is a designer. Is it mandatory for me to provide the insurance to them? Right now, there are only 2 employees, including me. That's a great question. So as an employer, what responsibilities do you have to offer insurance to your employees?
Okay, so it depends on the activity first, because some activities have professional liability, which is mandatory. Okay, for example, lawyers. Okay. Nevertheless, there are one key insurance that is mandatory also, which is workers' compensation. Okay. Portugal and I believe that is Belgium, they are the only 2 countries that have this insurance through the private and not through the public. So in Portugal, you need to insure, you must insure every worker. Okay.
Okay, very good.
Please
there you
send
go.
me an email.
Yep. Okay, so
Send
get
me
in
an
touch.
email. Very easy.
It's on the screen there. I am safe at winsurance.pt. Don't forget it's .pt, not .com. Winsurance.pt and I am safe is the prefix there. So there you go, the Nano, if you've got any more questions. And same here over on Zoom. Expats Portugal members, if you've got more questions for our wonderful team here, visas, insurance, law, taxation, currency, they're all here for you tonight. Do pop the questions in the chat and I'll make sure I get to them. We've got one from Todd. For you, Sarah, over on YouTube. Can Wise be used to pay rent and other bills if I find an apartment before getting a visa, or would apartment owners or managers be wary? Now, I guess there's a general sort of question there about using cards where you might not have the level of personal service that you get at Spartan FX. You're definitely, I know, and you're obviously not a Wise spokesperson, but the things that have been talked about there by Todd are things certainly that Spartan can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly if you're talking about rather than going directly through your Portuguese bank account, is probably the question, is it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as there's an IBAN number we can pay to and the recipient bank, it's not a problem. It doesn't matter whether it's your own bank that you're transferring from in Portugal or it's coming direct from a third party. It doesn't make any difference as long as they can make those payments. Obviously, I'm biased that I think that we can help do a good service for you and a good price on those transfers. But it shouldn't be a problem to make payments via a third party rather than direct from your Portuguese bank account.
Right, there you go, Todd. Thanks, Sarah. And I suspect we'll have the link for you inside the YouTube chat as well during the call this evening. Now, whilst we're waiting for more questions to come in, my cultural question of the week, and after the incredible success of Pal de lo Yes or No last week, which is now a meme that is going around the whole of the internet, I believe, thanks to us. I want to ask you, because we mentioned the Óbidos Medieval Festival. There's one in Coimbra coming up. There's all sorts of wonderful things going on all over Portugal at the moment. And this really is the season, isn't it, to be enjoying yourself. Summer's here, the festas are here, these great events are here. You can get to Coimbra before it shuts down, etc. And of course, the Expats Portugal meetup in Tamar, if you're a member of the WhatsApp group, and the link for that is in both the Zoom chat and the YouTube chat. Come join us on the 27th of July in Tamar and see the wonderful town of Tamar at an Expats Portugal meetup. But what are our panel's favourite summer events? Might be too early for you to say, Sarah. You might want to have a go at that. But Gilda, what is your favourite summer thing to go to with family, probably?
It's the little festas of the towns,
Oh,
the
okay.
little towns,
Right, okay.
where they go for like 3 and 4 days, and they put these singers, and everyone is there eating and drinking beer and eating sardines and bifanas and
Yes.
dancing and
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Okay. I don't know if we need to ask anyone else. That's just perfect, isn't it? That's a great answer. The wonderful thing about these festas that you speak of, this is a village maybe where if you drive through it in September or October or March, it looks like 6 people might live there.
Yeah.
But in the summer, everyone's come home, haven't they, from France, from other parts of the world, and suddenly this village is rocking with relatives, and people are so glad to see each other, and it's the most amazing atmosphere. Is that the sort of event you're talking about?
Yes, that is.
Superb.
Quick
Okay.
question. How do you find out about them? How do you know when they're
That
on?
is
You
the
know,
64 million
yes,
dollar
Sarah,
question.
I'm going to tell you something. So I was speaker in this event about this week. I was a speaker in this event about tourism in Portugal. And one of the things, because it was an innovation tourism event, one of the things that I brought up to the discussion was that someone needs to make an app so that you can find in your location where these festas are happening. So there needs to be a place where all the municipalities communicate about these festas and when they are going to happen, so that when you are around, you know, because there are too many festas, too many festivals going around. Some are religious, some are just gastronomic festivals, music festivals, religious festivals, many things. And sometimes you don't know. If you don't know anyone in that specific place, you are going to miss that party. Or sometimes we are going on holidays to Alentejo, for instance, and then we know that it's going to be a party there. So I talked with the audience and I said, this is a good challenge because there are many IT companies in the room. So I think this is something that you could do, not only for the tourism of the foreigners, but also for the tourists, for the Portuguese.
Very good answer. And I think you're absolutely right. In Portugal, it's like not so much a who done it, but where is it? And these things are very mysterious. And sometimes, I know I was at a gathering last night. We've got this wonderful men's shed where men get together and make things and learn things. And even our trusted Portuguese brother who works in tourist information had to admit he didn't know about every event that was going on. There are so many. There are so many. I think Jerry might be writing this down as well. It will be a great app when it's built. And it could be Expats Portugal's as well, of course, couldn't it? So that is a really good opportunity. I maintain that Portugal is the party capital of the world, and you could come here on holiday and go from one of these to another day after day in a different part of Portugal. It's really amazing. But if only you know about it, as I think Sarah was pointing out. Is this a problem you've had, Sarah? You like you hear about things that have come and gone rather than knowing about
Yes.
things in advance.
Yeah. Or people will talk about it and I'm like, well, how do you, I just know. They just know.
You just know.
And
That's
that local knowledge, and that's the struggle.
yes, yes, it is. It's definitely a marketing thing. And let's hope that that will be satisfied at some point. Let's go along the screen there. Nunu, what's your favorite summer gathering?
I don't know if I can tell. Well, since last year that I discover my gatherings and my festivals are all about ecstatic dance.
You weren't
It's not-
expecting to hear that tonight.
And I'm going to explain that this is nothing to be with sexual, because in Porto they ask me, but this is a sexual thing? No, at all. Okay.
Okay, thank you for
So,
pointing that out.
yeah, this is my kind of crazy gatherings and dancings.
Yep.
Definitely.
Amazing. So ecstatic dance gatherings, these are things that happen in Portugal, aren't they? And Mina, I think, is very glad to hear this with a big
Yes.
yes on the screen there.
Yes, they are happening during the whole year, from Algarve till Braga or so.
Amazing. Okay, so I mean, are they easy to find out about, Nunu? Are they on?
Yeah.
They do have websites. Okay.
Yes, but it's like everything. There are ones that, for example, I attend during these 5 days. I went to a 5 days gathering of Ecstatic gathering, and yes, we had a lot of dance, like 3 hours in a row dancing, but on a heavy way, okay, but it's like crazy. But it was about mindfulness and bio dance and other things. Other are more festivals. Other gatherings are more a reflection of ourselves. So one has both sides.
Yes.
So yeah, just if you are interested, search and try.
Okay, so there you go. Ecstatic
Maybe what
dance.
you said about Expats Portugal, all the experts that are in Portugal, well, I mean, like Nuno, for example, share these with us.
Absolutely. Yes. No. If you have a moment, if you could share those on the forum, that would be awesome. Is this called ecstatic dancing, or am I not hearing correctly? Is Denise's question. It is ecstatic dance, isn't it?
Yes, ecstatic.
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 And Mina, I cannot tell you how happy I am to hear that. My husband and I are in the process of planning to move to Portugal from the US in Oregon. And yes, about the parties, that is, Gilda asking you the question there. So look it up, ecstatic dancing. You might want to use someone else's browser whilst you're doing that. So let's go to, thank you very much, Nuno, and quite the surprise there. You should have seen the look on Sarah's face at least. And let's talk to Daniel.
Sorry, Carl, especially because 1 year ago, I was an amazing tree dancing, which I was unable to dance. So it's possible, miracles happen.
So you've become a dancer. You found your hips.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Excellent. So is there hope for us British men as well? Maybe there is. I don't know. We should. We'll see you at the next one. No. Okay. But we'll come back to events and festivals. We have a question from Paolo. Is the IMA appointment also for other EU citizens moving to Portugal? And does the spouse of an EU citizen have to have an IMA appointment? We are just starting our process from the US, but I have Italian EU citizenship, so it's different, isn't it, Gilda? Could you let Paolo know what the process will be for moving to Portugal?
Yes, Paulo, the process is quite different. And I think you should do it with us because to avoid many problems.
Yes, of course.
No, because that used to be a very simple process for the European citizens is now becoming a little bit more difficult, and also for the spouses.
Okay.
But it's different. The European citizen doesn't need to go to IMA. There is a process that needs to be done aside, and then you need to go for the family reunion under a specific article. to do the residency permit for the non-European one.
There you go, Paolo. Do get in touch. You can find EIA inside the Expats Portugal Business Directory, and you get a discount as a member as well. And already, muito obrigado from Paolo there. Excellent stuff. Okay, so we heard from you, Gilda, the local festas in the villages and the towns. We've heard about ecstatic dancing from Nuno, which is a bit of a surprise. And we've had Sarah's request that there be a list of such gatherings. Let's go to Daniel now. What's your favorite summer thing to do, Daniel?
Oh, whoops. Going down south, and well, just enjoy the beach. That's
it. Simple
my
as.
summer plan
He's a lawyer. He's so boring. Look
Yes.
at him. He's
They're
so
almost
young, but like so old.
I can't believe that Gilda just said that, but you
Yes.
guys have known each other for quite a long time and are very good friends.
Well, that's the problem.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I knew he was going to answer that. I knew
That's
he
the
was going to
problem.
answer that.
Familiarity breeds contempt, right?
Yes.
Okay. So nothing wrong with that, Daniel. And I suspect if you really want to push the boat out and have a great time, you get yourself a bola de Berlin on the beach.
Yeah,
And
well,
really go.
I do have other summer plans that I like. A live festival that just happened. I usually go to it.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
didn't
ride
go
my-
this year.
I did. That's
You
why I
did?
didn't come up on Thursday.
And
Ah,
did your favorite band play? You say he's boring and a lawyer, but did
Pearl
you
Jam
Pearl Jam?
I was
Yes.
there too.
and Smashing Pumpkins. Were you? Okay.
Yes,
How about
I
that?
haven't.
Yeah. And what else? Ride my motorcycle. That's the other thing that I like to do in during the summer. Those are my summer things to
It
do.
sounds great. It sounds
Yes.
great to me, and that is available. You don't have to go to an intense festa. You can enjoy yourself.
So
on
at
a-
least he goes to
Okay.
a music festival, not
Yes.
that bad. Sorry, Daniel.
You're so judgmental, honestly. Yes, he went to see Pearl Jam and Smashing Pumpkins, for heaven's sakes.
Loved it.
He's cool. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Daniel, for that. Let's go to Pedro. What do you like to do for summer festivals here in Portugal?
Right. In terms of festivities and festas, I've been to the most amazing ones I've been to are in Azores.
Oh, okay.
So yes, the Azores festas are pretty amazing, and a lot of immigrants that Portuguese that left Portugal like 30 years ago, and they come back also on the summer, and they are celebrating, and it's like there are all types of festivities, like religious and like Gilda told. So usually very religious, usually around that.
With a particular Azorean flavor, and with so many islands, I guess each of them has their own unique take on that.
They
as well.
do. That's it. And I've been to many of them. And the last time I've been to Graciosa,
Yes.
which is a very small island, and it was 3 days of festas, which they were incredible. So
Yeah.
I really recommend it. And
We do need a Portugal only bucket list. There are so many. We're never going to get to do all of these things in all of these towns and villages, but you can be guaranteed of a great time in many of them if and when you discover them, as Sarah was pointing out. So thanks for that, Pedro. Much appreciated. Just to add to the ecstatic dance shocker this evening, for those who don't know, as I didn't know, this is the internet definition of ecstatic dancing. Ecstatic dance is an inner-outer journey, an authentic moving meditation where presence and ecstasy can be experienced. It creates a direct mind-body-spirit connection, allowing our body and inner guide to be our own teachers. And the brilliant music they have in the Azores. Oh, okay. That's a slightly disconnected comment there, but great music in the Azores as well. And thank you for that definition of ecstatic dancing right there. That brings us up to the end of the Dream Team session tonight. It's been an interesting one, that's for sure. Safe journey home, Nuno, to the capital. Thanks to the rest of the Dream Team as well. Thank you, Sarah. I hope that helps with your quest to find great events, Sarah, here in Portugal. And who knows, that app may appear soon. As Gilda pointed out to all those techies that she was with just recently. Phyllis is saying, muito obrigado all. Over to you, Astrid. What's happening next week?
Hi, next week we've got Gilda coming on board with her team to discuss visas and going through all the different visas and which one's right for you if you're moving to Portugal. So that'll be very
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, did you forget Gilda?
Gilda heard it's going to be very good. Excellent. All right. Thanks, Gilda.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that, Gilda?
No. Whatever Astrid is saying, Should be fine.
You're there. Okay, fantastic. So, Boa noite from Debbie as well in Coimbra. Enjoy your festival there this weekend, Debbie. Thanks everyone from La Ronda. Ecstatic dance, still talking about that. Free-form movement where dance expands, the spirit becomes active, limitations dissolve. This sounds great. Annoyance disappears, creativity explodes, beauty flows, communities get together, a ritual is reinvented, harmony arises. Maybe we can have a little bit of that in tomorrow on the 27th, Astrid. Obrigado, bom fim de semana, todos from Jose Cruz, and Gilda is like, thanks for letting me know. What event did you speak at? Just finally.
Julian, you've forgotten.
Of course she
I
has.
emailed you today about it.
Yes, but I have Carolina. I trust her. I know that she's behind the
Okay.
scenes organizing everything.
And finally, Gilda, what was at the event? Because you obviously are doing the circuit now as a bit of a VIP in Lisbon and in the industry. What was the event that you were doing where you spoke to people about this app?
So it was a global summit about tourism, culture, and innovation.
Fantastic.
Innovation on tourism and culture.
And tell us, as a final thought and as a parting thought this evening, what was the temperature in the room about Portugal? What was the excitement level about Portugal in terms of tourism and the future and innovation and so on?
Well, it was quite interesting, because this whole event was about was only for professionals in the tourism area, and it was all about how we brainstorming how we could turn this massive tourism into something more sustainable.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had.
Was it hopeful and positive?
Yes, very positive, very positive. We had many hotels, we had travel agencies, we had the Secretary of State of Tourism. So many people talking, brainstorming. I don't even know what I was doing there because I'm not from tourism, I'm from migration, but someone thought that it was good to invite me and to speak. No, I think that what they wanted from my point of view was what people see in Portugal, what is the potential that foreigners see in Portugal.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, and we hear about that every week here. And we'll do it again next week, 9 p.m. Dream Team session and Gilda and team, or team and Gilda, next week, next Thursday at 7:30. Thanks, Dream Team. You've been amazing as ever. Read about Sarah David, a Portugal resident. Thank you to the Expats Portugal members here on Zoom, and thank you to those who took part on YouTube as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take